Hello guys, welcome back to the Noob Nerd channel, and by the name of this title you already know what I'm at. Doctor Who Series 11, first 2 episodes, my thoughts, my opinions, my theories for the rest of the series going forward, and all that good jazz. And you might be thinking, why didn't I just do each episode separately? I don't know, I just wanted to have some time to think about it. Of course, Doctor Who, every time I watch Doctor Who these days, I watch it again by myself just to gauge a feeling for what that episode was really like. Because with Doctor Who, sometimes your first reaction can just really overwhelm you, whether it's negative or positive, and make you feel stuff that you don't necessarily feel like after watching it a second time or third time. Hell, if you in a couple of months' time, it might be like different, like completely different. But yeah, I can't leave it that late. You know what I mean? Doctor Who's back, and we gotta live it up, man, because it's getting good views. Hopefully that keeps up. Most popular on BBC iPlayer, that's the UK thing, and yeah, it all seems good in the hood. Of course, there are some subset of groups not quite sure yet, and some people just outright just being offensive, which is always bad, but that's always the case with these things, isn't it? But not me, because I really like this Doctor, and yeah, we're going to do this by character basis. On both episodes, I'm going to be commenting on The Woman Who Fell to Earth and The Ghost Monument. They're both connected as well. Yeah, and I've already seen people saying on the internet that we basically have like a 5-episode through line, which doesn't actually stop. We start from Peter Capaldi's finale episodes, going into this one, and then it just all flows seamlessly. No time jumps, as it will. And I think there might be a time jump for the next episode. We'll see. Anyway, enough of that. Character by character basis, let's start with the top dog. The top duck. More like, I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah. Jodie Whittaker is fantastic in the role. She has enlightened me to just how she can be very like serious, and can be very not serious, not like dark serious, as in like very serious, as in you're gonna do what I'm doing, otherwise you're gonna pay the consequences. Just do what I do. Let's go. Of course, we haven't seen too big of an extent yet because it's not really the biggest threats ever. It's gonna be interesting to see how the Doctor deals with those kind of threats. Does she get frustrated with her companions? Does she get frustrated with how people are operating, how humans are operating? Not just humans, other aliens underestimating her, of course. Maybe even more so now she's a woman. Of course, you can't always mention the woman thing because it just feels like, oh, they're just taking the piss, if you know what I mean. Oh, let me see, someone's phoning me. Someone's phoning me. Our friend's phoning me right now, and I'm trying to persuade him to watch Doctor Who again. And many people have been watching Doctor Who again. That's good again. That's good. Another fresh start. That's the best thing about Doctor Who. Regeneration, all that good stuff. They can join in at different points and all that. Quick jump cut.
A few minutes later.
Back again. Probably added some SpongeBob edit for you guys. 5 minutes later or something like that. I don't know. Just developing my editing. Obviously, early YouTube days, early editing days. You gotta develop as the time goes on. Yeah, let's just go on to it. What I was talking about, Jodie Whittaker, of course. People coming back to the show, whether it was because some people might have got turned off by Peter Capaldi, though I love Peter Capaldi. Matt Smith's my favourite Doctor, but some people were turned off after David Tennant, their favourite ever Doctor. He's literally like the Tom Baker of like the New Who. It's ridiculous, but yeah, he deserves that. I think the Rusty Davies writing, sometimes the writing and the Doctor just flow seamlessly. I can't speak, but yeah, excuse me, bloody hell. Nothing to see here. Yeah, of course, sometimes the writing didn't mesh well with how Stephen Moffat wanted to portray the Doctor, as opposed to the actors trying to do their best to not giving the best material at times. Of course, Stephen Moffat was still a good writer. Chris Chibnall, of course, it's hard to judge off first 2 episodes, but he seems to get good at character building and stuff like that. And Jodie's just, of course, with any character, but the Doctor almost, who's experienced her biggest ever changed. And with this, and the more character development, the better with this start, especially with all these new characters coming in. All 4 characters, everyone's new, everything's new. The new title sequence, he just reminded me, that's so good. It reminds me of John Pertwee one with the symmetrical like waves and stuff like that. Brilliant. Missed the face, but it could go, and we got all the writings and the font and everything. Really, really cool. The composing. Segun Akinola, I think I said that right. Fantastic music so far. it's really dramatic. I don't think I'm exaggerating in this. I think it's just, you just really pop and you just really get into it. You know what I mean? Even if the visuals and the cinematography don't get you into it enough, because the cinematography is brilliant as well. It looks like a movie. You know what I mean? I'm not saying other episodes before weren't a movie, but this, you can see the difference in cinematography. This feels something special. You know what I mean? Even if the episode isn't even that good, which there is going to be inevitably some episodes, or maybe just one episode this season, because I'm speaking so fast. I'm so excited. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I think I just held on to my... Ooh. Don't I haven't turned into a woman. Yeah, Series 10 had some great... I think all the episodes were very good in Series 10. Like, decent, but some of them were average, some of them very above average, you know what I mean? None of them were crap, like really crap, unlike other seasons where it's like you usually have like 2 or 3 really bad episodes, and then all of them else are like good. But yeah, 2 episodes. I'll go through the episode as a whole at the end. So yeah, Jodie Whittaker. There are a few times in dialogue where she feels like she's forcing it a bit, especially at the start of Woman Who Felt It Off when she was just saying the regeneration garble. But I have to admit, she does say a bit of forced dialogue in the second episode, but not as much. But when she's on the ball, she is on the ball, like literally, like is the Doctor. When she's talking about our family at the end of the episode, that was so heartwarming and so cool. When she's ordering episode to stop the ship and just do what she says, brilliant, classic Doctor. It's just everything you want to see. We're seeing more and more of that, and hopefully we see the complete package by the end of the season. But it's really looking promising so far. You probably heard that in other videos as well. Let's move on to my favourite companion, Graham. His one-liners are just something to behold, but also you can see he cares about Ryan, and he's not just a joker. He's trying to do what Grace said, in life and in death, trying to make it up, trying to be this grandfather, step-grandfather for Ryan. Of course, Ryan's not having it. Ryan's, of course, not perfect himself. I've been talking about Graham and Ryan a lot, and also Grace, unfortunately, who dies. And my mum, who was watching with me, she's like, "Oh no, she was so good though. She was such a cool person." I think my mum related to her because she was a mother as well, or a grandmother at least, a mother figure, and she was such a good mother figure. So sad that she died, but so surprising. Doctor Who, surprising deaths. It's back again. No offense to Stephen Moffat, but he just kept on bringing back people from the dead, man. It was just getting a bit ridiculous, let's be honest. You know what I mean? Consequences, that's good. The Stenza. T-Face, disgusting, but good disgusting. That's what we need back in Doctor Who. Some scary monsters to put you at the back of the sofa, as Stephen Moffat kept on saying every couple of seconds about his monsters. I think the Stenza has already set a high standard, and it looks like they're going to be the series arc for the entire thing. That's going to be interesting. We'll see how that plays out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're just going to be the villain. Maybe there's something else going on. Remember, there's not enough episodes yet, so you can't make a final judgment on it. Bloody hell. My nose is very itchy today, man. Oh my god. Yeah, Graham. His one-liners. Ryan's not having it. He's very impulsive, but he's also very heartwarming. Of course, sympathetic with his YouTube video at the start of one filter off. I was like, oh, I'm excited for Doctor Who, but I was like, oh, YouTube channel trying to play down with the kids. Okay, bit forced. But by the end, it all came full circle with him just expressing his emotions of grievancy. Oh, is that a word? Just grief for her relative's death and his relative's death, or grandmother's death, Grace. Just through a video, and that's what some people do that these days in the modern age. Just they can't speak, they can't bring themselves to speak to other people. And of course, we see that he doesn't really want to speak about it with Graham at the next episode. He just wants to express it through his YouTube channel, and I'm expressing my thoughts on the YouTube channel. Segue into. Can I talk about Yasmin yet? Yeah, Graham's my favourite. Ryan's a close second. Yas, we just don't know enough about her. She's been underdeveloped these past 2 episodes, but it comes naturally after the fact with the brilliant character development with Ryan and Graham being related so closely together. Yas is not so related. They're just someone they knew from school. Of course, Grace died. That has to be overruling through line. And then you have these other 2 characters being brought in as well. Full Fat Milk. That's a good. It sounds like I'm just naming stuff from Asda or Sainsbury's, but shops, but that's a good YouTube channel, Full Fat Media or something like that. They mentioned how they're trying to balance all these new characters, including the supporting characters at the same time. You know what I mean? Like in the Matt Smith, they just had Amy and the Matt Smith and just the other supporting characters, so it was more character development with them too. But now it's doing a hard juggling act with all these characters. I think Chris Chibnall's doing the best as he can. He's doing brilliantly. I'm really surprised. I'm not surprised, but happily surprised at how mixing well these characters are. There's some problems. Yaz is underdeveloped, but her starting scenes in The Woman Who Fell to Earth were very good. The policewoman. Ooh. Oh, sorry guys, I've just regenerated and time travel at the same time. Just like Jodie Whittaker, innit? I don't know, sorry guys, this is the third and final edit. Yeah, let's just power through. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Yasmin Khan. Great character. She's, of course, it's important to note that she is the first Asian companion of this Doctor Who's New Who season. Do we have an Asian companion before? I don't think we have. This might be the first Asian companion. Yeah, I don't actually know about the descent of the actress itself, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. All I care about is really good characters across the board. The fact that there could be representation for the future and just more stuff like that, that's just cherry on top. And Yaz, she is a good character. She has the potential to be a fantastic character, but we haven't got enough of her and the family yet and stuff like that. But as I was saying, my mom, at the first episode, she watched that first scene with me, that Yasmin Khan, policewoman introduction scene, and she was like, wow, oh, that's a really cool scene, I like her already. And that was a very good feel-good factor from her. We knew what she wanted to do in a quick and short amount of time, and that's really hard to do. I know they've increased the time limit 50 minutes now. The first episode itself was, of course, 60 minutes, because it was the premiere, but you got to hand it to Chris Chibnall. It's harder than you think to set up all these characters at the same time, and just try and make it feel like they should be here. It doesn't feel like they're just doing it for the sake of it. Quick, straight to the point. What is their motivation? How do they fit into all of this? You know what I mean? And yeah, Yasmin, they introduced her well. They had that slight connection with her being ex-pupil, maybe a potential romance, or maybe I'm just wishful shipping, as loads of us like to do in Tumblr. Yeah, hopefully that develops, and we're gonna see her family hopefully in other episodes. But first episode, she was better than she was in the second episode. The second episode, I don't think they put her doing much. She had that scene where she was talking to, she had that relationship with Angstrom, what was her name? Yeah, I think it was that woman. And how they're related, how the woman's like not taking granted for the family, because of course she's doing a race for money for her family. Whereas Yaz was saying how, her family annoys her all the time. But that speech felt a bit forced. It was like, oh yeah, let's just give Yasmin to talk about so we develop a bit more. But it didn't feel natural, if you get what I mean. But that's a nitpick, at least we got to know something. And hopefully that can stem into more interesting subplots in other episodes. Let's move on. I think I've covered every companion. So yeah, the Ghost Monument, Angstrom, Epso's character arc, I think they did a good job of it. They introduced him as being the guy to hate, not to hate, but like to dislike to some extent. You always have that guy you don't dislike. You don't hate them, obviously. But yeah, they introduced the story of him talking about how his mother dropped him as a child. That sounds really weird, but yeah, if you know what I mean. And that was a really good time. Of course, it felt like, oh yeah, this scene is just for exposition sake, but the exposition was interesting. The cinematography, of course, helped as well, making it feel personal. And of course, Chris Chibnall, as I said before, knows how to do good character writing. It's as simple as that. That's his strength. Broadchurch, done that before. Let's go. And episode by the end, even though they could have made it a bit clearer on how he's changed, he did technically change when you think about it. He accepted that he technically only half won, with Angstrom both sharing the win. And I really like him using his ruthlessness, but in a positive way to some extent. How he tried to back up them to have both having the win by, of course, threatening the privileged man who was doing this in the first place. And yeah, and it worked. But luckily they didn't really get to say goodbye quickly. Maybe we see them again in another episode, carrying on subplots, a story arc just like the Stens are. But I don't want to do it straight away. I don't want to feel like it's just a small universe. Of course, this is Doctor Who. It has to be a big universe. And yeah, Jodie Whittaker, I think I think Mr. TARDIS Reviews, that's a great Doctor Who channel. He does loads of good reviews on Series 1, Series 2, Series 3 of New Who. Watch that, fantastic, best Doctor Who channel in my opinion. He goes on about how Jodie felt a bit, or how Jodie was written, her Doctor was very, she gave up too easily when she didn't see the TARDIS in the Ghost Monument. I know, and looking back I would tend to agree. But it was so satisfying to see her just really feel for the TARDIS, just like feel that connection. You already know that they're bonded, even though it's a new body, it's still the same Doctor and TARDIS dynamic. The TARDIS is still sentient, and come to mummy, instead of daddy. That was a great joke. See, that's good. That's a way of joking to the fact that she's now a woman, while also not making feel like, oh yeah, she's a woman. You know what I mean? So yeah, my beautiful Ghost Monument, and yeah, the Ghost Monument, because the TARDIS goes in and out of, what's it called? What's the word? Dematerializes and stuff like that. That was a cool thing, and I didn't really know the Ghost Monument was going to be TARDIS. That was a nice little surprise once again, not spoiled from other stuff. Just like a woman who fell to Earth, and Grace's death and all that. So yeah, the Ghost Monument was the TARDIS, and I think they have tweaked a bit of dematerialization, and yeah, it comes back in the most good cinematography again, just on that top of that hill. I think they took a picture of that for the original promo images, or maybe I'm just chatting. No, I think that was a green hill. I think this was a rocky hill. The sunlight, the lens flares, love lens flares. J.J. Abrams also do them, Star Wars. So yeah, she goes in. There's a bit of a weird shot when she's like, oh, do you want to try it? Like when the doctor's like, oh, do you want to try and come in? And it's like the really close-up face shot. Some people really like that, but I thought it was a bit too like, okay, calm down. We get the point. But yeah, the companions try to be like, it's almost like a plot for the companions as a whole, trying to edge the Doctor on instead of the Doctor doing the opposite. The Doctor edges the companions on, the companions can edge on the Doctors on, as they're always the good dynamic between the two, as we've seen in previous seasons. Though, once again, I think the Doctor gave up a bit too easily for our character. Bit off character, as Mr. TARDIS Review said. Trilby, or Trilby, you could call them Trilby Reviews as well. Good channel, check them out. So yeah, the TARDIS is absolutely brilliant, and I have to admit myself, it did get leaked for me. Well, I say that, but I pressed on the link that showed it. I just couldn't, like, it was at that point when they weren't showing that much because they wanted to maintain the secrecy, and looking back, that was a good decision, but I just needed my fix of Doctor Who injections, you know what I mean? And I saw it, but of course that image wasn't really lit. Not lit as in like lit, but like actually like the lighting wasn't there. Of course in the episode we see it in its full glory, and it's brilliant, the beehive mechanic and all that, but the only problem is it feels a bit like constricted in how it doesn't look like there's more rooms going into it, but that's fine. I think that was the same for Avatars as well, and also the pillars might construct a view of a wide shot of the entire thing, as Mr. TARDIS once again says. Sorry, I'm saying Mr. TARDIS, I'm referring to other YouTube channels, but they bring up good points. But except for that, everything is perfect. The pillars, I really like the idea of the pillars like coming into one console. It reminds me of that Crash Bandicoot boss level. Small reference, but yeah. The crystal, it almost fits in with the sonic screwdriver crystallization almost, and it kind of connects. Try and link it both the two. Once again, the beehive hexagon's so cool. Like half of it's broken and breaking off, but it's like got dots in the middle of it. The custard cream dispenser is a stroke of genius. Christian Rule was saying in, if you don't know, YouTube channel of Doctor Who does like behind the scenes, almost Doctor Who Confidential. I wish they just did that again. Half-an-hour episode, but yeah, that ended when Russell T Davies' era ended. But yeah, he's saying that apparently they just came up with the idea. I think maybe Jodie Whittaker, another actor, said, "Oh, just make sure it can make biscuits," and yeah, it does. And I wish it was the chocolate ones. Hopefully, it can make chocolate bourbon biscuits as well. But yeah, and the companions, they didn't do the classic big on the inside. I wish they did say that line personally, but instead Ryan's like, this is proper awesome. And yeah, all that good jazz. Once again, as I do for other shows, I could speak about this, especially when I'm talking about the greatest show in the galaxy, because it is. No arguments. You can't argue with me in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I really always appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.